Welcome back to the channel, lads and ladies, and welcome back to Phases of Life in War Thunder. I really should be used to this by now, but if you were watching my War Thunder videos, about a week ago, a few days ago, I was getting a little bit, tired of the game, a little bit disappointed in the way things were going. Mind you, not anything I really want to change specifically, but I felt like not playing the game for a little while. Well, I've been playing the game, and I really did only take a break for an hour or two. And besides the fact that there's so many other things I need to be doing as a daddy, I have decided to switch things up a little bit and go back to what's fun for me. And what is fun for me is mid-tier stuff, and I think I'm not alone in that. Really, when you look at the research tree, you have all these incredible, just wild and wonderful vehicles, and amazing new things to the game, like helicopters. You can see I've really been grinding away at them. Well, I mean, seriously, why would you set the RP? So anyway, why is that green? I guess they're whatever. I've been finding the fun again, and it's been really successful. I've been having a great time, and I'm a little bit rusty. I've been playing a lot of a different game, Pathfinder Kingmaker, if you're wondering about that. Oh, what do you mean you noticed? Yeah, I've made a few of those videos as well. But here is something that you can see. This was a 5.0 lineup, but I've changed it to be a 6.0 lineup featuring a lot of aviation. And you would think that things like the M18 and the M19 and even one of the feeblest heavy tanks in the American tree, although it's not useless, the M4A3E2 76 with the wet rack. Oh, careful now. These vehicles, not incredibly fun in a 6.0 match, ordinarily, but with the AD4, this is really the star of the show when it comes to fun. Once I get a feel for this aircraft again, I can do some very fun things with it, if the conditions are right. If the conditions are not right, there's always the Spitfire LF Mark 9C. This thing is an absolute joy, and it has a beautiful custom camouflage on it that I got from Live.WarThunder. Who the artist is, I forget, but they did a really fantastic job on that, in my humble opinion. And then an odd duck here, the B-25J1. What am I doing with a B-25 in a 6.0 lineup? Well, this is the bomber model, you could say. It's considered, they're all the same plane, but this is the bomber model, and you can tell because it has this glass here in the nose section, and you get a bomb sight in Tank RB, which is pretty fun to have. And with that, I could tell you more, but why don't I show you? So we'll pull up a replay of the last battle I had here. You see I did pretty well. Not fantastic, but again, this is talking about getting back to what's fun for me. And really, if I want to guaranteed have a good time and also get some silver lions, Air RB, anything between 3.0 and 4.7 is, 4.7. Even 5.0 is pretty familiar territory for me, and just by virtue of me having spent a lot of time in that area, I tend to have a good amount of fun and success. And here we are in the M19, just clearing a path for ourselves, and we were thinking, should we go to the A point and get an early cap, guaranteed cap, or go for the B point? And I saw that we were against the Russians, and I was like, that's who I didn't want to be against when it comes to rushing a cap, because, well, you'll see why pretty shortly. Here we are, we captured the point, and who's the first person to show up right after we capture it but a KV Oh, what is it? It's the KV with a long 100 mm cannon. So that is just that is just crazy, and we get immediately evaporated by a quick thinking IS-1. I didn't even see the guy, but that's going to be a common theme, I think, for a while here while I get my wits about me. I was hoping to cap and then maybe play the flank a little bit, but not much you can do. So here we are in the B-25, and I wanted to load out some bombs on the AD-4 and bring that in for a quick strike on all of those Russians, appropriately rushing the B point. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough spawn points for that, which is honestly a pretty good balancing factor. And here we get to leisurely perform our bombing run. There's no other aircraft in the sky, no AA targeting us at this time. Can you see the targets on the ground yet? I was blinded by ally markers, but I knew that there were enemies in the cap because they had just captured the B point, and I saw that my allies were not quite in the area, so I decided to go ahead and drop all 3 of my 1,000-pound bombs, and they will be detonating shortly. Boom, 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 and we pick up a kill. So that's nice. We did a little spraying there with the 50 cals, and we're trying to dive, but we kind of forgot just how clunky the B-25 is. It's a very heavy aircraft, so we hit some pretty incredible speeds there, and our control surfaces were locking up not so nicely, but we did manage to pop flaps, and in the process of ripping them, produce enough lift to pull us out of our dive there. Getting fired on there by what looks like a P-39 or a P-63 Lend-Lease. You see, we give them nice things, and this is what they do with them. And finding it very hard to control the plane. Again, a yellow wingtip, but the thing just wants to crash into the ground. So that's a thing. It's a thing that exists and also is in the game. And there's 2 allied aircraft there on one, that P-63. He's probably not long for this world, which I heartily approve of. I really didn't need him in my airspace. And we get our wings shredded by something slim. That is an IL-2. So just a bit of bad timing there as we were flying right in front of their air spawn, and we get taken down really quickly by an IL-2. But you see, he was not long for this world either, which makes perfect sense from the airspace that he was flying in. We knew there was a couple of allied fighters there, and you saw that that was the early model IL-2 without the rear gunner, which the rear gunner on the IL-2 is a really helpful person. So maybe that was the... I'm not sure. Does the early model have access to the 37s, or I think only the later model. I'm not sure. Was that an IL-237? I don't know. So here's where things get interesting and where things get fun. Now my goal in building this lineup was really to have aircraft, because I wanted to do some CAS, and it's a little bit harder to get into a CAS aircraft these days, which is entirely appropriate. I feel it really is the most versatile and dominant, and there's a T-34-85. Quick, aim the gun. Ah! What? No! Where did that round go? I had to hit like the thickest part of his armor, what with the sloping and it being 90 degrees of cast armor, but he manages to miss his shots as we try to move a little bit unpredictably there, and we get him before he can reload, just catching up with his reversal with our traversal there, and managing to squeeze one behind the front plate in that side armor. So good stuff for us. Maybe if he'd angled a little bit, things would have been more difficult for us, but that was a lucky engagement, and sometimes your favorite matches start with just such an encounter. Now, I have no reason to be doing well at this point, and in fact it's going to be a little while before I do anything useful, so I'll go ahead and speed things up here. I'm just kind of getting a feel for where the enemy is, taking some pot shots at people. I'm really having a hard time with the extremely low level of magnification on the M18's gun sight. I don't know if that's historically accurate, but with just the way that the game works, long-range shooting with low levels of magnification is very challenging because you're pixel hunting at that point. And you see we have a custom sight installed, and it's not the easiest thing for me to read. You know, when I'm rusty like this, it's like, where am I aiming? But suffice to say, yeah, we weren't going to be sniping anybody anytime soon. So that's unfortunate. I had a pretty good position here, but between the general thickness of the side armor of Soviet vehicles at this tier and the fact that I couldn't hit the broadside of a barn, there we go, bouncing off the back and then the front of an IS-1. And well, I just wasn't doing anything here at long range, so I decided to close in, and I decided to be smart about it. So I'm still flanking, but I'm also getting closer in. I take a hit from near the enemy spawn, so I get down off of my perch, repair. Not a lot going on here, but now we're back to supporting our team and just kind of looking for opportunities, which is really the M18's strong suit. And what you're about to see is not, you know, it's not entirely honorable gameplay here, but you know, I fought my way to this position. I was taking hits, and I just wound up here. This wasn't my goal. It's just sort of, yeah, we're spawn camping. So here we are rustling, and the T-34-85 that we were aiming at gets taken down. You can see that it's a duck hunt at this point. It's a turkey shoot, and so we get a shot into that one, giving us nothing in particular, as I don't know where that round disappeared to. Actually, I got no notification of it bouncing or anything, so I don't know if he still had spawn protection, which seems unlikely after it'd been a while since he moved. And there we go, putting one into his engine compartment nicely. He puts out the fire, but it's too late for him. We put another one into him. Looks like his gunner's dead. He's on fire for the second time, and there is it's an SU-152 or an ISU-152. I'm not quite sure, but we put one into, again, the absolute most effective part of his armor, because we aren't his lead skills. And he's looking right at us. So what do? We poke out again. Poke the bear. We saw that SPAA moving, so we decided to take the opportunity to put a shot in his direction. Something is at a 23 mil, bounces off of our front. So it's really, did it bounce off the front or did it kill our relief driver? I'm not sure, but it's definitely not time for us to be poking out. So we poke out, and there's the ISU still looking directly at us. And we managed to put one straight through his lower glacis. I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know if he didn't see us, but we managed to take him down there with that lucky shot into the weak spot of his armor, one-shotting him. That was a dire situation. So again, even though we are right outside of their spawn, they know where we are. He was looking right at me. You know, this guy was gunning for me, and I had to use actual skill, pronounced luck, to take him down. We fire one, and again it disappears into the aether. I'm not sure again if he still had spawn protection or what. Oh, I guess he was dead. There is an IS-2, that's a KV-2, the unmistakable silhouette of the Soviet bear, the king of all tyrants. And so now we're going to pull around as he's completely surrounded and try and get a shot in before he gets wiped out. Here we are aiming our gun. This would be kill number 6, and we managed to pick that up. So 5 kills in the M18. You know, this is nothing new. This is not me showing off my skill. You know, this is not me showing off strategic gameplay. I'm just telling you that I'm starting to have fun again. And yes, you know, my team had already wiped up the enemy team by the time we got to the part where I was really starting to make a difference. But you know what? That's a good half your battles, right? And I'm just saying, if you're playing some higher tier stuff and you're starting to get frustrated about how you're not making lions, and you're losing lions, you're not making RP, you're not making progress unlocking things, take a break. You know, play what's fun for you. And that was a lot of fun for me. And you see, again, I was not carrying this team at all. And I engaged in what some may call spawn camping, but I hope most of you guys are experienced enough to understand that if there's one place on the map where the enemy is, you're going to target that place. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed that one. And I don't know exactly what tone I had with this video, but I hope it was helpful for you, and I'm just pleased to share my life with you guys. One of my friends came over, one of my dear friends, and his wife, they actually lived with us for a while, the Tokaches, and he is the person who gave me the microphone I'm using today. And we had a delightful time, we really did, and trying to talk our wives into allowing us to play Dungeons and Dragons together, or some other kind of role play game. There's some interesting things that are worth checking out. But I wanna roll some dice with people and play some fantasy RPG games on the tabletop, as it were. I don't know when I'm gonna find time to do it, but that'd be a really cool thing to do. Anyway, guys, I'll catch you in the next video. Bye bye.